يا سلام يا سلمى يا سلمى يا سلام في باب الجبال يسقي السكرات يجي شيطان بكاس الماس يا سلمى حتى يصير مع عباده
Welcome, everyone. We're super excited to have you all. We'll be starting in just a few minutes.
Rebecca, can you hear me? Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, sorry.
We just need some technical support for interpretation. If you can check the chat, please.
and hold my head up high. Could it be that we belong together? Baby, won't you give me one more try? Looking back over my shoulder, with a aching deep in my heart, carry me up deeper and deeper, fills me with a sadness that I can't hide. There's a stranger in my bed, there's a pounding in my head, glitter all over the room, pink flamingos in the pool. I smell like a mini bar, DJ's passed out in the yard, Barbie's on the barbecue. This a hickey or a bruise? Pictures of last night ended up online with screws. Oh well, it's a blacked out blur, but I'm pretty sure it grew. Last Friday night, yeah, we danced on tabletops and we took too many shots. Think we kissed, but I forgot. Last Friday night, yeah, we maxed our credit cards and got kicked out of the bar, so we hit the boulevard. Last Friday night, we went streaking in the park, skinny dipping in the dark, and had a ménage à trois. Last Friday night, yeah, I think we broke the law. Always say we're gonna stop. Oh, this Friday night, do it all again. This Friday night, do it all again. Trying to connect the dots, don't know what to tell my boss. Think the city told my car, chandelier is on the floor. Ripped my favorite party dress, wore in South for my arrest. Think I need a ginger ale, this was such an epic fail. Pictures of last night ended up online with screws. Oh well, it's a blacked out blur, but I'm pretty sure it grew. Last Friday night, yeah, we danced on tabletops and we took too many shots. Think we kissed, but I forgot. Last Friday night, yeah, we maxed our credit cards and got kicked out of the bar, so we hit the boulevard. Last Friday night, we went streaking in the park, skinny dipping in the dark, and had a ménage à trois. Last Friday night, yeah, I think we broke the law. Always say we're gonna stop. This Friday night, do it all again. This Friday night, do it all again. Do it all this Friday night. Do it all again. I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it's complicated. And though I know you can appreciate it, I'm only happy when it rains. You know I love it when the news is bad, why it feels so good to feel so sad. I'm only happy when it rains. Pour your misery down
Before Shopify, were you wondering, where are my sales at? But now you're selling with Shopify. You're easily selling online, in person, and beyond. Discover how millions of entrepreneurs use Shopify to ignite their selling. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/YouTube audio.
Never seen so many men ask if they wanted to dance.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? My name is Maria Angelica. My pronouns are they and she, and we will be providing interpretation in Spanish and in English with my colleague Bertie so that we can all have access to the space and the language that we prefer. If you would like to listen and participate in English, we ask that you please activate the Zoom interpretation feature. The instructions will be in the chat as well. And if you're able to see, they are displayed in the screen. If you want to listen in English and you're joining from a computer, please click on the globe at the bottom where it says interpretation and choose English. If you are joining from a phone or a tablet, please tap the 3 little dots at the lower right-hand corner that say more, choose interpretation, choose English, and at the top right, tap done. If you have any issues with interpretation, please let us know in the chat and we'll be happy to support. And a loving reminder for everyone who will be speaking today to please speak at a moderate pace so that we can interpret everything that you'll say and we don't leave anyone behind. Thank you so much. Buenos días, buenas tardes, noches. Mi nombre es María Angélica, mis pronombres son ella y ella, y hoy estaremos proveyendo interpretación con mi colega Bertie para asegurarnos de que hoy todos podamos participar en este espacio en el idioma que prefiramos. Si ustedes quieren escuchar en español, si pueden escuchar, estas son las instrucciones de interpretación, ya que este espacio va a ser llevado a cabo en inglés. Si están conectando desde un computador, las instrucciones están, si pueden ver, están en la pantalla y las vamos a poner en el chat también. Si están conectando desde un computador, por favor, hagan clic en el globo abajo donde dice interpretación y eligen español. Si están conectando desde un teléfono o una tableta, por favor, toquen los 3 puntos abajo a la derecha donde dice más, eligen interpretación, eligen español y arriba a la derecha tocan finalizado. Si tienen alguna pregunta o dificultad con la interpretación, por favor, déjenos saber en el chat y con gusto les ayudaremos. Y recordándoles amorosamente a las personas que van a hablar hoy, que por favor hablen a una velocidad moderada para que podamos interpretar todo lo que van a decir y no dejemos a nadie atrás. Gracias. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, the interpreters for being here, and to all of the panelists and beekeepers for joining us to share and learn together. We are Combcutters collectively, and I am Sam.
And I am Rebecca.
We come from the belly of the beast.
diasporic futures,
gypsy moth caterpillars.
coffee beans, rice, and honey.
We are granddaughters of climate scientists and stewards of the land.
We are a cooperative of beekeepers and educators witnessing an inequitable world, and we see bees as a part of the pathway to growing just and joyful societies.
In practice, this means drawing lessons from the hive, leaning on them for healing, and stepping away from colonial and extractive ways of beekeeping.
Fannie Lou Hamer once said, when you've got 400 cans of greens and gumbo soup canned for the winter, nobody can push you around or tell you what to say or do.
We know beekeeping and growing foods can strengthen our society and be a source of power and are therefore worthy collective endeavors.
We have long recognized parallels between the colonization and oppression that has played out in the Americas and the occupation and oppression of Palestinian people.
Yes, and we wanted to create a space where we could deepen our understanding of these parallels and each other.
And in the spirit of the bee, we didn't want to do that on our own. We wanted to do so collectively with the goal of exploring new ways to build together.
Yes, so we're incredibly excited to have so many folks from across the US and the world joining us today. I saw Maui, Ontario, the UK, so many of the occupied lands across the globe. Thank you all so much for being here.
Before we get started, we want to go over a few quick things, and then we're going to hand the session over to our panelists.
Yes, so if you didn't see when you signed in, we are inviting any beekeepers to present their name, to change their name, to have bee in the front of it, so we know that you're out there. And if you are an agricultural worker or have any other kind of skill set that you want to put to the front so that we all know you're here and we're able to connect with each other, go ahead and do so now.
And we have closed captioning enabled for the webinar. So you should be able to turn captions on or off at the bottom of your screen if it's helpful for you to read along.
Okay, and we're going to keep the chat closed. I'm seeing some messages that you're not able to change your names. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So yes, if we're going to keep the chat closed while the panelists are speaking, but on the back end, we're going to open it back up so we can kind of convene together and just relish on everything that we've learned today.
And then if you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen at any time, and we'll have time to answer a few of the questions at the end.
Yes, and absolutely we'll be recording. Sorry, getting a little lost here. We have a form that we'll have for you all, through which we'll be sharing out things like the recording, the link to the recording, and if you all want to continue connecting with us and with all of the folks that are here, we'll make that possible to you all through that.
Absolutely, and we'll talk a little bit more about this at the end, but we are interested in connecting more with beekeepers specifically to talk about what it looks like to organize as beekeepers, and what can come from that. So again, we'll drop the link to the form in the chat where you can let us know if you want to participate in those conversations.
Absolutely. And yeah, so calling in from Palestine today, we are really excited to introduce you all to today's speakers. We have Yasmin El Hassan, an organizer with the Union of Agricultural Worker Committees in Palestine. And beekeepers and researchers, Islam Nairouf, Mohammed Al-Qurna, and Imad Al-Baba.
And then our Q&A session after the panelists present is going to be moderated by Brittany King, a local Miami artist, cultural worker, and close colleague of Combcutters.
Yes, and so thank you all once again for being here. We look forward to hearing your takeaways at the end, and Yasmin, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is Yasmin. I'm an organizer with the Union of Agricultural Work Committees in Palestine, and I'm based currently in Ramallah, Palestine. I'm going to share my screen with you all. If you'll just give me one moment, and then we will get started. You guys can all see that, I think. All right. So first of all, before we get started with the presentation, I'd really like to say that it's incredible that so many people from across the US, Europe, the world are convened here today to talk about all of this. And as they were saying in the introduction, it really is a global struggle. It's one struggle. And the liberation of Indigenous people in North America, in Turtle Island, and Indigenous people in Palestine, all of these are linked to cross-cutting themes of colonialism and capitalism and oppression. And so it really is beautiful for all of us to come together like this, despite that I wish we could convene under better circumstances, but it's really lovely to have you all here. So thank you so much. I'm going to proceed the conversation with the beekeepers with some context. So it really is not possible to talk about Palestine or beekeeping in Palestine, anything in Palestine, without first talking about the situation and context in which we are living. So as I mentioned, I'm with the Union of Agricultural Work Committees, and the Union of Agricultural Work Committees is a grassroots Palestinian organization, civil society that is working to support the steadfastness of Palestinian farmers, fisher people, peasants, and rural people around Palestine. We work to protect and to defend Palestinian sovereignty in the face of the Israeli occupation and its dispossession of the Palestinian people and land and natural resources. We were founded by a group of agronomists, volunteers in 1986, and have been working throughout the West Bank and Gaza ever since. I am going to figure out how to put this full screen, and then we will start.
ياسمين
Alright.
انزل ياسمين لتحت على اليمين. اوكي.
Okay. So land, livelihood, and liberation in Palestine are all intricately connected. So settler colonialism of Palestine is the obstacle to food sovereignty. So before we talk about anything, in order to understand the settler colonialism of Palestine, we have to go back to the Nakba. The Nakba is Arabic for catastrophe, and it refers to the ethnic cleansing of Palestine in 1948 by Zionist militias. And we can see here the map of Palestine and the land that has been stolen. In the aftermath of the Nakba, the Israeli occupation has taken over Palestine, expelled hundreds of thousands, 750,000 indigenous Palestinians, destroyed around 550 Palestinian towns and villages. Over 7 million Palestinians are living in exile all over the world. And to this day, for over 75 years, 76 now, Palestine has been under settler colonial occupation of the Israeli occupation. Right now, as you all know, Israel is conducting a genocidal war on the Gaza Strip. And so here are just some statistics, some quick overview of the conditions right now. We also, on the UAWC website, you can access these fact sheets, which we update every week. And they're a really good way to get comprehensive coverage every week. The Israeli occupation's genocidal war on Gaza has massacred over 30,000 Palestinians, with nearly 10,000 who are missing, assumed to be dead. Over 70,000 people are injured. Over 2 million are forcibly displaced. Gaza's population is 2.3 million, over half of whom are children. almost all of the Gaza Strip's population is currently displaced, and the entirety of Gaza's population is food insecure. Now, when I say food insecure, we don't just mean unable to access some food here or there. We mean a famine-level starvation. The entire population is either facing already or at imminent risk of famine. And this is by design. This is not an accident. So when we talk about food sovereignty, which is one of UAWC's primary goals, there's a reason we don't say food security. And that is because our land provides us more than enough resources to care for ourselves, to sustain our population, our communities. But the problem isn't the resources. The problem is we do not have sovereignty over these natural resources, over our land due to the occupation. So if we had sovereignty over our land, our natural resources, we would be food secure. Right now, not only is the entirety of Gaza facing starvation, not only is the occupation massacring the population with bombs, airstrikes, it's destroying the infrastructure of Gaza right now. You can see here the systemic destruction of the healthcare system, education system, telecommunication system. Their Israeli occupation forces are explicitly targeting hospitals, taking over schools, abducting people from shelters, and actively committing sexual violence. And the world, the global community, so-called global community, is not just complicit, but actively participating in this genocide. The United States just issued its third veto against the ceasefire, continues to fund the massacres and the genocide. This means that not only is it complicit, but an active participant in the ongoing genocide. At the same time as we have the occupation carrying out this genocidal war in Gaza, at the same time, the occupation is continuing to expand its settler colonial enterprise in the West Bank. In the West Bank, the occupation is hiding behind the global focus on Gaza to expand settlements. The settler attacks, settler violence has skyrocketed in the past months. Occupation forces raid Palestinian communities daily. There are nearly 700 access obstacles imposed to restrict movement. Hundreds of martyrs, thousands of injuries, thousands of detainees, and forced displacement has also gone up, particularly of rural communities, peasant communities, farmer communities, Bedouin communities. And it's no coincidence that much of this violence, much of this forced displacement is targeted towards rural communities, towards those who are connected with the land, towards those who are the core and the foundation of our food systems. The occupation aims to completely desettle our ability to sustain ourselves. In doing so, it attempts to sever our connection with our land. To do that, it targets our rural communities and the foundation of our food system. UAWC's work towards food sovereignty, over the past just 7 years, we've implemented at least 159 projects in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Total beneficiaries are around 150,000. We've reclaimed and rehabilitated about 200,000 dunams of land, constructed and rehabilitated about 500 kilometers of agricultural roads, and harvested about 145 cubic meters of water for agricultural use. And so the work that we're doing is all in the face of settler colonialism. So when we talk about our work towards food sovereignty, this includes things such as land rehabilitation and reclamation, construction and rehabilitation of agricultural roads, water harvesting, irrigation systems, facilitating the creation and sustenance of agricultural cooperatives, particularly for youth and women, supporting home gardens, rooftop gardens, and all sorts of things to support the steadfastness of our farmers. In regard to beekeeping, Our work in beekeeping includes capacity building for professional and new beekeepers, including the training, organization of field school days, and exchange visits, organizing of the beekeepers in cooperatives, implementation of research on beekeeping topics. So, for example, surveying bee diseases, controlling of bee diseases using essential oils, job creation for women, providing them with 3 to 5 beehives and the necessary beekeeping tools. This specific project benefited 300 women. We organize workshops for beekeepers and bilateral meetings with public institutions to stand over the challenges and find mitigation measures. And we support beekeepers with emergency kits, especially for those who are disproportionately affected by the Israeli occupation. So we have some pictures here: land reclamation and rehabilitation, water harvesting, advocacy campaigns, construction and rehabilitation of agricultural roads. And we also have an indigenous seed bank where we preserve and support our farmers in receiving around 60 types of local seeds. These are more climate resistant, more suitable for our ecosystem and our atmosphere, and also more economical. And they are also culturally ingrained. Towards the end of the presentation, once our beekeepers all speak, I'll go back and share some action items of what can you do and what should you be doing. I know that it seems like you're all so far away from what's happening right now in Palestine, but every single one of you can do something and has a responsibility to take urgent action. So one of these ways, you can donate to UAWC's urgent community aid campaign at stopgazastarvation.org. Our team in Gaza is currently implementing and distributing emergency aid to our communities. 2 of our offices in Gaza were bombed. At least one of our colleagues and her whole family were murdered. Our nursery was bombed. Our other shelter is being used. Our other office is being used as a shelter for displaced people. And in the face of all of that, our community is working to support each other. So we ask that you share this link with your communities as well, so we can continue to try to support one another. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues. We'll start with Islam, and then we'll talk more in detail about Palestinian beekeeping. And then towards the end of the presentation, I'll talk more in detail about action items. Thank you all so much for being here. And we really, really love being able to connect with you all. So thank you so much. Islam, تفضل.
Islam, you're on mute.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. And I would like to thank all of you for your time and being with us today. My name is Islam Nairouh. I am a beekeeper. I am 46 years old. I have been beekeeper since I have been child. My grandfather was a beekeeper. Then my father was a beekeeper, and me and my brothers, we are following beekeeping with the 145 beehives. I have completed my BA degree in plant production and protection, and later my master degree on plant protection, and my thesis was on controlling of flower mites using essential oils. Today I will talk in briefly about the status of beekeeping in Palestine. You see the screen? Hello?
No, Islam, we can't see the screen.
Okay, just a second.
Islam, can you unmute your phone?
Okay. Okay. Today I will talk briefly about the status of apiculture in Palestine. Uh, uh, Okay. Beekeeping is very old in Palestine, and it's a traditional hobby and job. It started nearly around 7 millennia old, and the archaeological remnants showed mud beekeeping in Canaanite era in Bab el-Wad in Jerusalem. And in Jericho city in the Jordan Valley, there was remnants of agriculture since 10,000 years old. And the first two beekeepers who introduced beekeeping in Palestine, they are the two brothers from Bethlehem, Emil and Philip. They started the beekeeping in 1881. There is attraction factors for agriculture in Palestine. In Palestine, there is diversity of a climate, and we have hot, dry summer and mild, rainy winter. The average temperature in summer raises between 28 to 32, while in winter it's cool winter. The minimum temperature usually we have around the minimum is 0, while the rest of the winter it's between 5 to 15. Palestine has three agroecological zones. We have the Mediterranean, Sudanian, Irano-Turanian, and Saharo-Arabian. Palestine characterized by having diversity of plants. We have over 900 flowering species out of 2,780 species. We have the trees, shrubs, herbs, and cultivated crops. And in Palestine, it's ample water bodies except few parts of the country which is not. This is the map of Palestine. If we see, we have the West Bank and we have the Gaza Strip. West Bank, the total area of West Bank is 5,800 kilometers square. And we have Gaza, it's located on the coastal area of the Mediterranean Sea with an area of 365 kilometers square. And all the area around the yellow parts of West Bank, it's the Israeli settlements and the Israeli area we see here where the occupation. In Palestine, all the people are involved in beekeeping. Middle-aged, old, and women are keen to work with bees. Beekeeping is characterized by having a good social cohesion and cooperation among all the members, beekeepers, beekeeper groups, neighborings, and the friends, especially when we have the high work during the harvesting of the honey or transportation of the honey. Beekeeper cooperatives were present at Ottoman law, British law, Ottoman period, British period, and during the Jordan rules and Israeli colonial rule. At the moment, we have around 18 beekeeper cooperatives in West Bank and around 8 in Gaza Strip. There's about 926,000 dunums, which equal 92 hectare cultivated with the tree, horticulture, vegetables, and field crops in the Palestinian territories. This is according to the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics in 2012, which is the latest statistics we have. Women also are involved in beekeeping project, and thanks for the local NGOs who integrated women and involved them by building their capacities, like AWAC, Park, and a different organization who funded these projects, such as European Union, Oxfam, FAO, and Acted, and other. Okay, here we see one of the most important flower, which is called in Arabic al-zuhayf. It's one of thyme. It has a pink flower and it's bloom in September, and people rely, beekeeper rely on it for a source of nectar. Here we see some pictures of bees and beekeepers. And in Palestine, we have the Langstroth beehive. All the beekeeping equipment, beehives are designed based on Langstroth. Here, if we see this paragraph, it represents the number of beehives in Palestine, in West Bank and Gaza Strip. If we look since the BA has started in Palestine after Oslo Agreement, we see there was 45,000 beekeepers, while in 2011 there is 36 beekeepers. We see there was the peak in 2008. There was 733 beekeepers, while the number declined in 2011. This is as a matter of a construction of the apartheid separation wall, which restricted the beekeeping in Palestine. This diagram shows the number of beehives in West Bank. The blue one represent the modern beehives, and the red is the old traditional clay beehives. In 94, we have 8,900 or 9,000 beehives, modern beehives, while in 2011 the number was 25,000 beehives. And we see, comparing 2008 with 2011, again there is big decline in the number of beehives. In Gaza Strip, the beehives was 23,000, while in 2011 was 2,000. And today, after the attack on Gaza Strip, almost most of the beekeeping sector have been destroyed and demolished, because beehives were demolished by the attacks, and beekeepers since more than 140 days couldn't access or take care of their beehives. If we look to the share and the economic value of apiculture, we see that in 1994 there was a production of around 148 tons, and in 2010 was 145. And we see, if we look, there's big variation in production. For example, in 2000 it was around 97, and 240, and this because of non-stability of rainfall amounts. We suffered during the last 10 years with a low amount of rainfall. Okay, here we see again the share of apiculture in Gaza Strip. It was 134 in 1994, while it's were 34 in 2011. Here I would like to highlight on the main challenges that face beekeepers in Palestine. There is a smuggling of honey and bees. and there is low productivity of colonies. The productivity of colonies in West Bank and Gaza Strip, the average is around 12 kilogram per beehive, comparing to 64 kilograms to the Israeli beekeepers. This is because, despite that we are in the same area, that uh, Palestinian beekeepers have less accessibility to grazing area and movement to a source of nectars. And there is inadequate training centers and training facilities. There's a lack of trained professional beekeeper. There's a limited input supply, quality, affordability, and availability, and inaccessibility of medium and long-term financial credit facilities in West Bank and Gaza Strip. Also, there's lack of market research and infrastructure and encouragement of honeybees rangeland due to cultivation and urbanization. There's weak linkage among core stakeholders, especially the public institution and the Palestinian government. We know that Palestinian Authority suffer from lack of financial resources, which means they cannot offer and support more the farmers. And there's little involvement of commercial beekeepers, especially once it comes to taking decision, they are less active. We have a problem in pest and pesticides because we don't have control of our borders. All our borders are controlled by the Israeli occupation, and there's no sometimes now trusted sources of pesticides. We rely on what the Israelis present for the Palestinian beekeepers. There's lack of scientific researches on agriculture sector in Palestinian Authority. We had the problem of pest and bee diseases. Finally, I would like to highlight on the main challenges imposed by the Israeli occupation on beekeepers. In Palestine, we have no market protection. Why? Because Palestine is controlled by the Israeli occupation. They control what to be marketed in Palestine, and one of the biggest problem is that Israel send its market low quality and cheap honey in the Palestinian markets. Israel, if you go refer to its official website, the Ministry of Agriculture official website, you see every year they export over 150 tons, and they export import 100 of tons. They export the Israeli honey with high prices while importing honey with few dollars per kilo, and they market it in Palestinian markets. This affects the Palestinian beekeepers who suffer a lot, and the cost of the production of the honey is too much high. This make them suffer a lot in marketing their honey. And again, once it comes to the exportation of the honey to abroad, there is restriction, because once Palestinians in general for agriculture, when we want to export, we have to use the Israeli borders. And in order to export, for example, your honey or your agriculture products, you have to load your truck and send it to the Israeli gate. Then you have to do unloading and moving it to the Israeli yellow plated cars. Then you have to send it to the port. And in the port, when you fill the container, you cannot fill it full. It should be 2/3 of it for security reason. This is the Israeli excuse. And usually they give the priority for the Israeli products to be exported, and later they give the priority for Palestinian product to be exported. And as I know, many people here in Palestine, they lost all their business just because of exportation, because You are as American when you have deal or contract with Palestinian supplier, you know time is time. So if you agree that your product will be arrive in 1st of April, it should be 1st of April. But when it arrived to you in May, you say, okay, you didn't commit to the contract, and many lost their money. They lost everything because of exportation. So there's limitation of marketing. There is also restriction of movement for beekeepers. In Palestine, there is 153 Israeli settlements with more than 800,000 settlers inside West Bank. And nowadays, there is over 700 checkpoints. And beekeepers, when they move to take care of beehives or transport their beehives, they have to pass all these checkpoints, and in many cases they lose some of their beehives, or they cannot manage well or cannot access their beehives, especially for those are close to the settlements. There is competition on grazing areas. In Palestine, uh, we have different areas. We have the mountains. It's around 1,000 meter above the sea level, and in between July to September, there is the time, the main source of summer honey, nectar. It started blooming. So all the commercial Israeli beekeepers, they bring their beehives from all over Israel to the settlements. And in this case, the grazing area cannot tolerate this high number of bees, which make the Palestinian beekeepers have less productivity. And the other thing is that in the last 10 years, Palestinians, when they used to move their beehives to this source of nectar next to in their mountains, they used to hide their beehives, because Israeli settlers, when they see the beehives, they ask you to remove your beehives, or they send the Israeli army asking you have 1 day or 2 days to remove your beehives. This is in order to offer a good grazing area for the other Israeli beekeepers who already had brought their beehives to this area. There is limitation on importing imports. All our imports should pass throughout Ashdod and the Israeli borders, and they control what to import and what not to import. And most of the beekeeping imports and like beeswax, like queens, like the control pesticides, like machines for printing the wax. It's not allowed. This is to make the beekeepers rely and be victim of buying from the Israeli suppliers. There is also the attack of beehives and beekeepers, and this is common. Beekeepers, they attack, the Israeli beekeepers attack the beehives next to the settlements or in the Jordan Valley, or areas where they think there, there could compete their beehives. For example, in 2000, there was 3 beekeepers came and poisoned 850 beehives by spraying guns. They sprayed all the beehives. That time I had 250 beehives for my family. They all were poisoned just because they don't want you to put your beehive there. Also, the violation of settlers. Settlers keep attacking all Palestinian farmers, especially in Area C, noting that Area C is around 63% of the total area of West Bank, which is 5,800 meter square. This is all. Thank you very much. I keep the floor now for my colleague Muhammad Al-Kone. He will give his presentation about the diagnosis of bee diseases in Palestine. Muhammad? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hear you,
Okay.
Muhammad.
I don't know. Do I have time or should I be hurry? It's
No,
fine.
no. Okay, you have 10 to 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. So good evening, all of you. Thank you for this presentation workshop. I am excited to meet you, and thank you so much for your coming and listening. So I will. My name is Muhammad Al Qurna. I am from Bethlehem City. I think all of you know Bethlehem. So I am agriculture engineer. So I have been working with the bees since 2015. So I started working with Islam from the beginning. So we got like a project from 2015, since 2015, cooperating with Germany. So we did like diagnosis of the honeybee diseases in Palestine. So this project finished in 3 years. Then I have the chance to travel to Germany to continue PhD about many drivers of honeybee colony losses in Palestine. So I finished my PhD since last September, so I'm still fresh. So I will try to make a summary about my study. I will not take my time. So I will try to make in very like brief. So as I said, the title of my study about many drivers of honeybee colony losses in Palestine. So the study started from 2015 when beekeepers and the Ministry of Agriculture reported and claimed that we have colony losses. As you can see in this one apiary, so they claim there is losses, but the scientific data and the research about these losses are unknown. So at this point, we addressed the main aim for this study, the identification of the main drivers of colony losses. From this like aim, we addressed also sub three aims. The first aim, we determine the amount of colony losses. Do we have colony losses or not? So we try to prove this aim. And then we looking for occurrence and prevalence of parasites and pathogens in Palestine. So we looked for the main 6 pathogen parasites like varroamite, as you know, Banibacillus larva, American football disease, Nosema species, Ascosphaera, chocobro disease, Acarabus woody, and 15 viruses. Then the last aims, then after we looked for prevalence and occurrence, we also estimate and define the drivers of colony losses. If we have losses, so we try to define the drivers of colony losses. So in order to answer this question, we selected 2 governorates, Bethlehem and Hebron, as you can see in West Bank, as a case study. And we selected 8 apiaries in these governorates. And in each apiary, we selected 10 randomly beehives. And we conducted the study from 2017 to 2019 for 2 years. And we visited the apiaries 3 times per year during spring, summer, and autumn. So during each inspection, we estimate the colony strength, like number of the adult bees, number of the brood cells, open brood cells, and also we looked for any clinical symptoms in the colonies. Then we collected samples from bees and honey and suspicious larvae, then transferred to Germany for further analysis. So in Germany, I diagnosed the prevalence, of course, with these pathogens by many like techniques, by microscopy, cultivation, molecular techniques, DNA sequencing, cloning. So I did for each pathogens, I did like special techniques. So just in brief, I will not go in details. So now I will go to the results section, which is very important. So, sorry. For the first amount of the colony losses, unexpectedly, we found high losses in Palestine. In 2017, we found around 26%. And in 2018, we found 29% of the losses. So it's very high. We not expected that. And we go in more details. I will not show you everything, but also the losses occurring during 3 seasons. Half of the losses occurred during winter time and followed by summer and low in spring. But the losses in regarding to the season level was not significantly, which doesn't fit with the global issue, global like countries. That means the high losses occurred during winter time. So, but in our case, the losses occurred during the 3 seasons. So now we found high losses in Palestine. So we went to the second question. We looked for prevalence and occurrence of parasites and pathogens in Palestine. I will also go here in very brief. So this graph show the y-axis, the infected colonies throughout 2 years. So just a cumulative of the results. So as you know, we found the varroa mites in around 96% of the colonies. So varroa mite present in most of the colonies. And also we found Nosema serrana in around 60% of the infected colonies. And unexpectedly, we found Bacillus larva, American foul brood disease, in 22% of the infected colony, which is surprising us. And also we found chicken brood in around 18%. Acrabus was not detected in any samples. And we looked for also for 15 viruses. We detect around 10 viruses out of the 15. So we found the most prevalent black queen cell viruses, as you can see, around 96%, followed by deformed A and B around 70. And also we found big Ceux liver virus. This is like emerging new viruses. This virus only like detected in the USA and Turkey, but this is a new virus. And other viruses in low prevalence. So we have a quite prevalence of the virus pathogen and parasite in Palestine. So this is also guided us to the third like aim, which the drivers of colony losses. So we defined the colony losses based on the previous season for the dead colony. When the colony died, we looked for the previous data. For example, if died by AFB or varroa, we say this is died by this like driver. So we found unexpected. So this graph summary the drivers of colony losses. So we found around 30% of the losses occurred by American foul brood disease, which surprised us, very unexpected. And we found varroa destructed as other like in the other countries. Also, varroa is high losses by varroa. And also we found even Nosema serrana is high prevalence in Palestine, but there is no losses colony. And we found also other factors causing colony losses in Palestine, like weak colony. This colony defined by less than 800 bees per colony. Also, we found queenless and queen failure in quite number in some colonies. And also we find one colony died by hunger and starvation. And we found around still 10% of the colony, we didn't find any driver for these losses. So in summary, around 60% still losses by pathogen and parasites, which fit by the global like trend. The pathogen and parasites still the major problem for colony losses in Palestine. And we found also and beekeeping management around 30% also causing colony losses. So I will talk about the last slide about the varroa mite. Also varroa mite, we found we use generalized models. We found like varroamide in both the graphs. You can see both the graph. The y-axis represents the number of the adult bees. We compare between number of the adult bees and the x-axis varroamide infestation level. As you can see, there is like the deep decline when the number of the varroa increasing. So the average of the bees was 8,000 when the no varroa, but when the varroa increasing at 50 per colony, the number of the adult bees decreasing to the half. So varroamide is like affect biology in the number of the adult bees, as well as also capped brood affected by varroamide. So varroamide also major problem also parallel to the American foulbrood disease. So now I want to talk about the outlook of my study. So as you know, we found massive annual colony losses in Palestine. So this is highly recommended us to first establish national strategies for continuous colony monitoring and early disease detections. And as well as we need like action plan to limit the speed of American foulbrood disease in Palestine. And we need also, because we have also losses by beekeeping management. So we need beekeeping education, training course, some like courses for the beekeeper. And future studies, we need also to continue working in this study. So we need future study for explore the transmission of American foulbrood in Palestine. Especially we found ERIC2 genotypes. And we need to alternative treatments against AFB and varroa sector because we use antibiotics. It's not like forbidden in Palestine, so we need alternative like essential oil. So we need many work in this like subject. So nowadays we already last week we published the first paper cooperating with Islam and other colleagues. So we published the first paper about prevalence of viruses in Palestinian honeybee colonies. So now we're working on the other papers, and so at the end I would like to thank you for listening and thank you so much. Now move to the third colleague, Islam.
Okay. Yasmin?
Yeah, I
Hello.
think we're ready for Q&A.
Hello. Yeah, Yasmin.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Now we finished the two presentation. I think if we will
Okay, if
see
you'd like to
if we,
start the
yeah,
Q&A.
I see some of the question raised here. I can.
Hey
Yeah,
y'all.
we're going to
Okay.
have Brittany King.
Yeah, I'm
take it
here. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. I wonder if it's possible to get all of the panelists on the screen as well. Is that possible? It looks like okay. All right, well, I'll give my mini introduction while that happens. Hey y'all, I'm super grateful to be in this space with you all today. My name is Brittany King. My friends and beloveds call me BK. I'm a organizer, artist, playwright, as well as supporter of Black Palestinian solidarity. I think for the last 7 years, I've done a lot of organizing work around bringing more Black and Brown folks into the fight against Israeli occupation. So I'm really grateful to be in this space and grateful to have been able to travel to the land of Palestine more than once. So yes, really excited to kind of delve more into this conversation with you all. And all of these questions, as well as the questions that are in the Q&A, I hope to be able to get you all to answer some of those as well. They're a lot more technical than my expertise is able to answer. So hopefully we can collaborate on those. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive into a few of the questions that I had myself, and then before I get too deep into my questions, I do want to give Imad a chance to introduce themselves as well before we have this discussion. So Imad, if, I don't know if you had a chance to let folks know who you are and how you come into this work, but we'd love to offer you that moment right now.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, good day to everyone. And let me thank the organizer of this gathering for giving us the chance to share with you what have been done so far in the Palestinian beekeeping with regards to the management issues, research, and defining the major threats, obstacles that are limiting the progress of the sector in our area. Personally, I am Imad Al-Baba. I'm holding my first MSc in zoology and aquaculture, followed by postgraduate diploma in wildlife management planning. And then I did my second MSc in the field of natural resources and their management. I was fortunate enough to publish around 41 publications, 41, and in addition to one book in English. A quarter of my publications were concerned with the beekeeping and the problems arising around the sector. One of my publications in the year 2009 was concerned with the colony collapse disorder and the presence of colony collapse disorder in our area. I was partner as a Palestinian single researcher partner with 5 countries. These are Jordan, Algeria, Lebanon, Egypt, and myself, of course. Followed by another engagement sponsored by Merck, which is the U.S. agricultural institution. And again, I was the Palestinian partner for 5 years. 3 Americans, they came from U.S. to the Palestinian territories just to meet me and to discuss how to pass through. At the time, we managed to identify the major viruses occurred in the Palestinian beekeeping. I was fortunate again to attend several international conferences. One of them just today itself, I attended the 2 days conference held in Croatia on beekeeping and apitherapy, for children, whereas the participant disclosed how benefit using the beekeeping as well as the bee products for curing children's disease as well as for developing their hobbies and their skills. Okay, maybe let's say I will stop here and I will try to answer your questions.
Beautiful,
Thank you
beautiful. Thank you so
once
much.
again. Thank you a lot to the attendees of this gathering. And once again, thanks a lot to the organizer of this gathering.
No problem. Thank you all so much for being here. So we have a few questions that each of us collectively wanted to just have in conversation with you all, have you all answer. So some of them will be lighter than others, but to start us off on a light note, we'd love to have you all think of a time that while you were working with the bees, where they surprised you or made you laugh, or have there been any special cute moments that you can remember from being in community with the bees, and if you could share that with us.
Okay, I'll just tell you the story that happened when I was dealing with the. I do have a small, in fact, number of beehives just for my own research and investigation. I'm not that commercial beekeeper. But at once I decided to go for epitherapy just to cure my knee. Then I went to the beehive. I collected some bees and I returned back to my home. Then I removed my, I believe, the shirt and the pant. And suddenly I found that I don't have the bees. Where's the bees? Within 2 days, I found the bees under the seat. I sit there, which I used to sit in, and they started roaming around and flying in the entire part of the house. And everyone in my family, they were afraid of getting stung by the bees. This is one of the funny stories. And the
Nice.
other story with the trainees, we went to an apiary just to show the trainees what's going on in the apiary, how the management is taking place in the apiary. And some of them, they were not eager at all after 3 days of training just to enter the apiary and to see the beehives and to look at the queen, how the honeybees are behaving. They were not able even to afford themselves to experience such things. These are two, I believe, funny stories, in fact. Okay,
Yeah,
Muhammad,
definitely.
Islam, have some experience, please.
If not, we can definitely move into the next question. Okay. All right. So got you. Okay. So the next few questions, well, this next question is can be for all of you, but the next couple I'll direct to each of you. But this one, anyone can feel free to answer. We're curious about if there is something that you feel is unique to the experience of keeping bees in Palestine, and what is something that is universal. So, do you have something like a unique experience you could talk about that is unique to the experience of being a beekeeper in Palestine? And then, do you have? I mean, you pretty much said a bunch of different universal things in each of your presentations. But yeah, curious about any unique experiences any of you might have about being a beekeeper in Palestine.
Okay, maybe in Palestine, just to mention that the beekeeping in Palestine, it's really unique, considering all the circumstances and the beekeeping the beekeeper life is unique comparing to other beekeepers worldwide. Here in Palestine, working in your agriculture, in your business, in beekeeping, in different agriculture sectors, it's a kind of fighting for securing your source of income, keeping your business. It's a kind of resilience and it's a kind of resilience and resistance because all Palestinian beekeepers, they are being fighted by the Israeli beekeepers, by the Israeli occupation, saying that you are continuing and you are succeeding in your business. This is like something is not good for the Israeli beekeepers. So the daily life is really unique. Once you want to go to your beehives, you do not have the normal universal life. You start planning which road is open, how I can access my beehives, what would happen, how can I mitigate the risk of settlers, the Israeli occupations. It's really unique. And what is unique also that the spirit of Palestinian beekeepers, despite of these obstacles, losses, and dangerous, they always have the willing to continue and to continue because they think that if they stop, means that they give up and give the opportunity for the incubation to replace and achieve more of their incubation plans.
Wow, thank you so much, Islam. Mohammed or Imad, do you have anything to add to that as far as like any other unique situations that you might come across?
Yes, maybe it's not like unique, but during my study, we, as I said during presentation, we found like unexpected our colony infected by American football disease, which doesn't fit with a global trend. A global trend is first varroa. Varroa mite is the major threat to honeybees, and AFB is low. For example, in Europe, which I try to like answer or like find some like probability why we have American football disease. I found the first like reason for in Europe, not in Europe, using antibiotic is forbidden. In Palestine, using antibiotic is not forbidden, so you can use antibiotics. So the problems when you use antibiotic, the antibiotic kill the vegetative cells of bacteria. They kill the clinical symptoms when you use antibiotic. In this case, when you use antibiotic, you kill the clinical symptom, then you cannot see the symptoms, then you transfer the spores between colonies. But in Europe, they aware about American flu because they see the clinical symptoms because there's no antibiotic. So when the AFB started, they see the clinical symptoms, then they can immediately eradicate or make isolation quarantine for this IBI or for this colony. So maybe it's not unique, but this is new like scientific results. So we need to work a lot about this to prove that. So this is just this is what I found during my study. But in general, as I agree with Islam, we are unique. We Palestinians are unique, not only beekeepers.
Right. Yeah. Understood. Understood. Thank you so much. And I have the other so just to follow up to what you just said, Mohammed, do you see this as a direct attack on your industry?
Again, I cannot catch your question.
Oh, I said, do you see these attacks as, or do you see these actions as a direct attack on your industry?
What you mean? You mean Israel attacks, or what do you mean?
Yes. Yes.
So in West Bank, for example, in my I didn't see like by my eyes, but I know my friends. He is called. I think Islam knows him. He is Yusuf Abu Sharaha. He is a very famous beekeeper. Last year, he bought his apiaries, in Jericho, in Area C, and his apiary destroyed by settlers, and he sent us the photos. I think I can send you the photos. All the colony destroyed. So only I see by his photos. I didn't see like by my eyes. But we have many news, many reports about these losses. But I didn't see by myself, to be honest.
Got it.
Yes, and I would like to add, me personally, in 2000, we have 250 beehives were poisoned by the Israeli beekeepers out of 830 beehives at that time. Also, I would like to mention that the checkpoints, it's really, really big problems because commercial beekeepers, they cannot move their beehives from place to place. And in many beekeepers I know, because I have good connection with most of the beekeepers in West Bank, they lost some of their beehives during transportation of their beehives because they move it at night, and usually at night the checkpoints are more restricted than the day. So when you pass and they see the beehives, you tell them their beehives, they have to breathe, you have to let me pass quickly. They do the opposite. They stop you for purpose more and more time in order to attack that. There's many cases of affecting on the beekeeping industry.
Got it.
Imad,
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you are muted, Imad. Muted.
You're on mute.
Yeah, just to add something in this regards. During the last, let's say, 5 years, due to the climate change incident in the Palestinian territories and the shift and the extreme events that we noticed, unfortunately, some settlers, they have made use of the situation. They started fire in a place whereas maybe more than 300 beehives were located, and they started fire on the grasses, the dry grasses, and the fire expanded very quickly, and the whole set of the apiary, which is divided, I believe, in between 3 or 4 beekeepers, got lost. So this incident, mainly in the last year, several times we noticed in the TV, in the newspaper, on the multimedia platforms, reports about burning bees, excusing that they do come closely to our tribes in this settlement. They sting them, and they suffer a lot from the Palestinian beehives. All right.
Wow. Thank you all so much. And, I really applaud and admire your work in spite of all of the things that are like affecting your ability to be as successful as you possibly want to be as beekeepers. So, yeah, just kind of want to hold that for the moment, because I can imagine that that's a lot to deal with, not even a lot to deal with on an everyday basis. So yeah, thank you for all the work that you do. We probably have time for 2 more questions because we're getting closer to the time to wrap up. So I really appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll get going soon here. Just 2 more questions for you. So all of you all seem to have backgrounds that kind of cross-pollinate into a variety of different areas, including sustainability, environmental management, wastewater management, etc. How do you feel beekeeping fits into and connects to those areas in Palestine?
Okay.
I guess I'll, go ahead, Iman.
If you allow my colleagues, I watched the movie produced by the U.S. Agricultural Agency called The Buzz About Bees. It's concerned with the colony collapse disorder. At the time, I noticed that in California, people do use bees for pollination instead of production of honey and bee grains, pollens, etc., propolis. So in Palestine, roughly, we estimated that the ecological services made by honeybees is estimated to be at around $100 million annually, just because of their services with regards to the pollination itself. In addition to that, it's a job creation and benefiting sector. Several ladies, they are making their daily income just out of the beekeeping itself. In many cases, meanwhile, even in Gaza Strip itself, the remaining of the beehives, the honey, they are making use of the honey in curing injuries, in curing, I believe, even as a source of food in places whereas the food is not available at all. So these are holistic, I would say, services offered by bees. It's highly appreciated. Bees offer services for agriculture. Bees offer food for people. And let me finish with the saying, which is say that if the honeybees disappear from the world will be able to survive just 4 years. Sometimes people consider it or refer it to Einstein, the scientist, which is renowned to each and everyone in the world, but I believe it's not Einstein's words. So without bees, no life, and even in the Palestinian situation, which is unstable geopolitical area.
Yeah, no true words have been spoken, Imad. Thank you so much for that. We know the bees keep us going, so without them, we cannot have the beautiful world that we have. Last question I'm gonna direct to you, Mohammed. How do you think that the relationship of the bees and the beekeeper has been severed or strengthened as a result of the displacement and colonization experience under the occupation? You're on mute again, Mohammed.
Sorry, can you again repeat the question?
Yeah, I can repeat it one more time. So, how do you think the relationship of the bees and the beekeepers, so the relationship between the bees and the beekeeper, has either been severed or strengthened as a result of the displacement and colonization that you all experienced under occupation?
Okay, so you mean in Palestine, yes?
Yes. Yes.
So the relationship between bees and beekeepers is it's kind of the resistance. You know, we live in this in Palestine, so we need to keep our lands. We need to I want to say we need to live, and like normal people in this world. So, for example, because before I will go to this question, I was in Germany. When I was in Germany, when I travel from Palestine to Germany, I have to go first to Jordan, then from Jordan to Germany. So it takes me 2 days to reach Germany. But for example, for others, they can travel directly from Tel Aviv to Germany just 3 hours. So this is one example, and this one example for normal people. What about beekeepers? So the beekeepers and the bees, like kind of I can say this is kind of the resistance. They want to live. The bees also is more friendly for the humans and more sober organism, like I can say sober organism, and give us like this. I can say the kindest relationship between the beekeeper and the bees. So what I can say, work with the bees, give us some like powerful energy, give us some hopes how the bees works together in one colony, more than 20,000 organisms in one colony. They live together. They share all the duties between the queen, workers, drones. So this give us some hopes, the best for the future. So give us some like the hopes we will like the future will be like good for us. So yes, this I can say this, there is like nice relation, there's friendly relationship between them. So yeah, hopefully I answer your question.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
thanks.
that was beautiful. Islam, you want to add something?
Yeah, thank you, Muhammad.
ahead.
I see one of the question about the smuggling of bees and that thing. Okay, one of the biggest problem is occupation. When you say occupation, it's easy word to spell, but it's very hard to live under occupation. Imagine that I say imagine that the US beekeepers, you are beekeeper, you work hardly all over the year, then you produce your honey and you want to market. Imagine when your government cannot protect you. For example, you produce honey, then you come to sell 1 kilo of $10. Then suddenly you discover you have honey of $1 in all the U.S. market, and so you are become a victim. You cannot do anything, and this is what happened with the Palestinians. We have no borders. Israel market the honey. okay. And imagine that you are beekeeper, so in US, and you want to buy some inputs, you want to buy bee wax, some tools, and you cannot import them or buy them from China or from EU market. So you are forced to go to that person and to buy with the price he indicate, with the quality he give you. This is what happened for Palestinians. You should follow what Israeli offer you. Again, when you go to the bee, your honey, you see have a lot of honey in US, and you cannot export it to Mexico. So you have to keep it, and you have to manage yourself in hard conditions. So this when we talk about smuggling, uh, this is not because of the reasons. It's by human made reasons, which is the incubation. And imagine that you are US beekeeper, you put your 1,000 beehive here, and then your neighbor from he come from Mexico and say, okay, please remove it. You have 1 day, otherwise you will be punished. There will be bills. We will destroy them. This what happened for the Palestinian beekeepers. So really, when we say incubation, it's really very, very hard to live under its practices. Again, also about the movement, I live, I move a lot. When we talk about freedom of movement, I see in Europe how they live it. Sometimes I look. I am shocked when I see the people, they go out of their homes. His train is at 8. He arrive at 10 on time, every on time. I look about the people and compare our beekeepers, our Palestinians. So here you cannot give any appointment exact dates, exact time. For example, if I want to meet, I say, oh, okay, inshallah, if everything is good, we meet between 10 to 12. It depends if there's checkpoint or not. So that things are really hard when we talk about right of movement. And imagine about the movement of beehives, moving your beehives, which need sensitive care and procedures to move your beehives with these presence of all these checkpoints. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Islam, for painting that picture so accurately. And again, I just want to, applaud you all for the tireless work I can imagine it takes to operate in the ways that you do, dealing with the ever increasing, threat of the occupation. So, from here in the US to you all, thank you for the work. And I'm gonna now pass it off to Yasmin to see if there are any final words and any calls to action that you might have for the folks listening in, who've been tirelessly listening in and taking notes and really just soaking up all of the knowledge that we have on this call with you all here. So thank you for taking the time to answer our questions and to answer some of the questions in the Q&A chat. And I'll pass it to Yasmin to close us out.
Thank you so much. And big thank you to my colleagues Islam, Imad, Muhammad. Excellent explanations and amazing representation of our indigenous culture. So it's really been lovely to have this space with everyone. I'd like to end with a call to action and share some action items that you all can do from outside of Palestine, particularly those who are in the US, who are in Europe, who are in the West Global North. So we know that the occupation is not going to end and the genocide is not going to end if we ask nicely or if we say please. That's not how it's going to end. There is no moral appeal that will end this genocide that's been tried and done and failed. The only way that this will end is if the protest, the opposition, is disruptive to the status quo. So right now we're seeing, for example, the BDS movement, boycott, divest, sanction, where people are boycotting the financial interests of the occupation. So BDS has a list online that I encourage everyone to go look and study. That way you can ensure that you are not spending money on companies or products or institutions that are complicit or actively participating or profiting from the Israeli occupation of Palestine and the ongoing war. Another way is protests. Protests are incredibly, incredibly important, but particularly the types of protests that really emphasize to everyone around that this is disruptive. So for example, we've been seeing particularly in the US, for example, in New York, in LA, people protesting and blocking the roads to airports or blocking bridges. These are disruptive actions. And it's critical that these actions be disruptive to show that we will not continue our daily life as normal around the world while there is a genocide going on that American tax dollars are funding. If life goes on as normal, then nothing is going to change. And so it's a big responsibility on those who are living in the US, in the global north, in Europe, to take that action and ensure that life will not go on as normal while there's a genocide, while there's an occupation, that you all don't allow that to happen. You don't allow there to be something like status quo. So this type of economic disruption of the status quo is really, really critical for pressure against the occupation. There's also, of course, calling and writing to your representatives, although we've seen what that can do and not do. And also there's material support. So right now it's particularly challenging to materially support the urgent needs of Gaza in the West Bank, but particularly in Gaza. It's the Israeli occupation has imposed a total siege, and so very few, you can't get anything in or out. Humanitarian aid trucks are not going in or out, very, very few are. However, UAWC, the Union of Agricultural Work Committees, our colleagues in Gaza are connected with every step of the food systems there. And so we have been able to source from within Gaza food that we've been able to redistribute within our communities, in addition to clothing, medical aid, firewood. And so at stopgazastarvation.org, I encourage you all to share that link, donate if you are capable, and if you're not, share it. This is a grassroots community-based effort by Palestinians for Palestinians in Gaza, where we're trying to support each other. UAWC is not a humanitarian organization by nature. That is not our purpose or our mandate. Our purpose is to support the steadfastness of Palestinian farmers, peasants, rural people. And right now, supporting the steadfastness means providing this urgent material aid. And we would really appreciate your help in doing that. Most importantly, though, is don't let life continue as normal. None of what is happening right now is normal. I mean, I'm sitting here in Ramallah and I can hear the warplanes going to Gaza. We can hear it here. And none of this is normal, and none of us are free until we're all free. Palestinian land will be liberated. Indigenous land all over the world will be liberated, and that will be done, all of us hand in hand with international solidarity. International solidarity is really such a critical tool that we value and gives us so much hope. With that in mind, I'd like to again thank everyone so much for being here. It's really lovely to have had this space with you all and have had people from all over the world. And I'd also just like to extend an invitation if anyone would like to connect with us at UAWC, and as such also with the network of Palestinian farmers, fisher people, beekeepers. Please feel free to reach out to us at UAWC, and we're really excited about connecting with everyone, and we really appreciate the support. And thank you so much to the organizers. This has been phenomenal.
Thank you all so much, Mohammed, Imad, Islam, and Yasmin for joining us. We are, just grateful to have been able to facilitate you all being able to speak to some of your colleagues around the country, especially here in the United States, as well as besides just beekeepers, other folks that are in the food sovereignty and food justice world. Mohammed, when you spoke about the hope that you can find from beekeeping and from kind of looking inside the hive and seeing the workers working together and the collectivity within the hive, that is exactly the work that we're focused on, is kind of figuring out ways we can take those lessons we learn from the hive and apply them to the outside world, to find hope from them, to find these lessons of resistance and resilience. So thank you so much for highlighting that for us.
Absolutely. We're incredibly honored for you all, that you all responded to our ask and that we were able to make this happen. I have tears in my eyes right now because this is truly the kind of work that we want to be doing more and more of, to be able to connect with you all, to hear your stories, to be able to bring that to our communities here and across the globe. Thank you to everyone for joining us, and let's do more of this, please. I've dropped in the chat all of the important links that you all will need to support UWAC's work moving forward. StopGazaStarvation.org. If you all want to connect and continue organizing together and figure out ways to connect and continue supporting this work, not just here, but across the globe. All of our struggles are interconnected. All of our grief is interconnected. And so please stopgazastarvation.org. And you all can also follow through with us through the survey. So thank you so much. And
yeah, and we'll be sending out the recording as soon as we have it up and available, as well as, again, all of the follow-up links where you can connect with all of us moving forward. There were a lot of really interesting questions that folks asked in the Q&A that we didn't have time to. So we'll see if maybe we can get some of those answers sent out to you all or provide a way to connect.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Can I say one last thing super quickly?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the chat right now and all of the messages that are coming in, and I don't know if you guys saw me starting to smile. I think we all started to smile, all of us, and it's just so beautiful to see that solidarity. I think that's one of the things that right now is really keeping us going and giving us a lot of hope and strength. We're standing in the midst of this horrible catastrophe that the world shouldn't even be able to carry this burden, but we're not standing alone, and events, spaces like this really make us feel that. So yeah, I think all of us started to smile at the same time when the messages started coming in. So thank you so much. Really, this means a lot, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Have a good evening.
Shukran.
Gracias. Thank you.